What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we have some Destiny 2 news and updates from Bungie. Of course in the form of This Week at Bungie. A couple of interesting updates today. Bungie are actually giving us the opportunity to vote on which set of armor we're going to see for Festival of the Lost this year. One of them has a dinosaur theme, which is rather interesting. We'll talk about that. They speak about the recent bug where 12 players are getting into PvE activities at one time. They do plan to fix it a little bit further down the road. They touch on Trials of Osiris, which is going to remain disabled for a little while. They also speak about teleporting enemies, which have been reported much more often recently, a recent raid along for the Deepstone Crypt, and some stuff they'll be doing for International Women's Day. So guys, we're going to break all of it down in the video. I hope you enjoy this one as always, but now let's get into it. And initially they say, we're rapidly approaching spring, but are already planning for Festival of the Lost later this year. And we're excited to share previews of two concepts we have for Eververse, which can be purchased for silver or earned via Bright Dust. And so they actually present two different armor sets and say the universe isn't big enough for both of them. They have only one goal, winning your vote. And so first up, to take a look at them, this is the first set. Of course, we are only looking at concepts, but we can see some rather interesting and inspired monster themes to those armor pieces. That's option 1, but option 2 will be this very kind of dinosaur themed set right here, which obviously leans all the way into the fun and games of it. And they say both are awesome, and we're having a tough time choosing which one to use this year, so we're giving the community the opportunity to pick which set they like the best. To vote, they give us a link and say we'll need to fill out a brief survey, and then they will announce the winner in an upcoming TWAB. And so guys, what do you think? I kind of like the sort of goofiness of the dinosaur set, to be honest. I do actually think that's pretty cool. But let us know down below, which set do you think we should get for the event later on this year? Next though, they say the big buzz around the community this week has been players finding out a way to cram 4 fire teams in activities that were meant for 1, and we've been watching the 12-player raid hype and are glad you're enjoying yourselves. We're not rushing to fix this, and it's totally fine if you want to try it out and have some fun. Just keeping in mind that we didn't create these activities expecting a clown car of Guardians to roll up, so we may experience some weirdness. But they go on to say they are planning on fixing this before Grandmaster Nightfalls begin on March 16th. Until then though, we're free to party up and absolutely beat up some PvE content with 12 players. So interesting, they're going to allow us to continue to do that for a little while. Let us know if you've had any experiences with it. And here they give us a few notes and fixes. So they say with the release of hotfix 3.1.02, an issue was resolved where the Lightseeker Triumph did not complete for players after they found all weekly feathers in the Bird of Prey quest. Players should be aware that this Triumph will not reward retroactively, and they will need to re-earn the Triumph for it to register on their account. So bear that one in mind. But next, last weekend, Trials of Osiris was disabled due to an unexpected issue. And while these issues are being investigated, Trials of Osiris will be unavailable to players. We'll have more information when it becomes available. At the very least, going into this weekend, it doesn't look like Trials is going to return to the game. We spoke about some weird stuff that folks were doing with matchmaking in Trials. Obviously, this is the reason that it's been disabled, and we'll have to wait for further updates from Bungie about when they can get a fix for it. Certainly unfortunate, but some of the issues encountered were certainly breaking the Trials economy. Give us your thoughts about that, but they also say they're currently investigating an issue where owners of Beyond Light can't equip the Frozen in Time ornament for No Time to Explain, and point out that if a quest appears to be missing from an inventory, players are advised to visit the quest archive near the postmaster in the tower to see if the quest is available there. Something to mention here, they say they've heard feedback that enemies are a bit more teleporty since the launch of Beyond Light, especially now in activities like Battlegrounds and Gambit. They say we believe that most of the recent uptick has been caused by new issues with some of our network logic. As many of you have noticed, we've created encounters chock full of enemies in Season of the Chosen, but spawning all of this AI quickly, especially in some of the battlegrounds, may also be contributing to the teleporting issues as networking pipelines try to handle the load. And they say we are working on improvements for how we handle network traffic and think we will be able to reduce the amount of teleporting. And they're also looking at some targeted content fixes where enemies are spawned into a bad place and teleport because of issues with their pathing. So broadly, teleporting enemies is something that Bungie are looking into right now. And so bear that in mind. But also something to take note of from the TWAB, they say, in a few short days on March 8th, we will join the world in celebrating International Women's Day. And in the spirit of this action, we're excited to announce the newest edition of our Diversity and Inclusion pin series, available for pre-order now. And as with previous pins, we'll be able to receive an emblem to show off inside of the game. And emblem codes for pre-ordering will be sent out sometime later this month, with 100% of profits from purchases of the pin being donated to organizations dedicated to combating the pattern of historic discrimination, harassment, and abuse, as well as helping women pursue careers in the gaming and tech industry. And so during the month of March, all profits will be donated to AnitaB.org. So definitely a big positive thing that Bungie are doing there once again. And of course, all the links and relevant information will be in the TWAB, which is linked down in the description box below. Random final couple of shouts right here, but of course later on this season, we're going to see the return of Guardian Games for the second year. It was definitely an interesting event last year, and by the looks of things, it's probably going to take a fairly similar format to what we've seen already, but it looks like there's a possibility we're going to see a catalyst for the heir apparent during the event, so this was added earlier on this season. The catalyst itself has been in the database for a little while, but the perk itself was actually added, and we've got Legion's Bulwark, and that increases the Arc Shield's durability and partially reloads the magazine if it's destroyed, which sounds a little bit like an effective buff for heir apparent right there. It also lists requiring 700 enemies to be defeated. Another reason this could be updated for the event is that it looks like there's an exotic ornament for an LMG in the database as well. It's completely classified so we can't see it, but it does even appear in collections under the exotic ornament tabs for machine guns, so in addition to any other new drops that we might see, there could be a little bit of pursuit right there for the heir apparent. And of course, heir apparent actually refers to Keitel, essentially, so there's even a bit of a thematic premise to seeing the weapon get an update right now. A final thing right here, but Bungie did post a deep dive into the Deepstone Crypt yesterday. I say posted, it was actually a live stream, which was pretty awesome. And there were some sections where they showed different areas of the raid in development, so I'm going to run some clips from that right here because it's cool to see some of the gameplay and ideas that they were working with, as well as very early versions of that raid actually being played. So you can check some of the clips out right here if you want a quick look through, but especially if you're a big fan of the raid, there are some pretty cool developer insights. And so we'll link the recap for this stream down below. For today though guys, that is everything that we have to round up in this week at Bungie, so if you have enjoyed this one, a rating really does help us out. Let us know your thoughts on any of the subjects that we've covered as always down in the comment section, and if you are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and you can also turn on notifications if you don't want to miss out on any content. But for now guys, thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll catch you all very soon.
I want to talk about the statue here. We've seen it a few times before. Pyramid ships, the Garden of Salvation, and now here. I'm dying to know why Clovis Bray has this Halloween Home Depot-esque darkness statue in his basement. I really want to know. What is it? Please, Adam, just tell me everything you can about this thing.
Well, you know, the cool thing for people who like kind of read the lore and such, you know, is that you can kind of start to piece together a lot of the, like, what was Clovis Bray up to? And, you know, why did he have this darkness statue and seemed to have it, you know, for reasons that were related to trying to bring the Exo to life. In regards to what it actually is, I'm not going to say anything about that right now. But there's something really cool about it, which is if you get up close to this one in particular, you will see and notice that it's kind of breathing and that it's kind of moving and that it might actually be maybe alive in some form.
Do we have a prototype we could look at? Because I feel like this is a fight that's had many iterations and it's evolved drastically from where it started.
Yeah, we have a few prototypes. So early on, this one is a bit buggy. We had these crates that you'd pick up, and those would create a little like fake hologram behind you, which is that like purple pink cylinder that you see with no working shader. But there was an issue where like it wouldn't remove from you properly when you'd shoot at it. But it would still create the thing on the ground. And so here we just have hundreds of crates. And at one point, I don't have this on video, but somebody I'm pretty sure was standing on a tower of 10 crates, and then they just sort of all collapsed to the ground. It was kind of ridiculous, but I mean, that's game development. And then we have another one too, that Ray started to put together, where we wanted to have Atrex like glowing behind you. The dev name was Replix, and so we took this little monster thing and made it into a mesh. It's so goofy, and I love it.
Yeah, it was a real challenge figuring out the experience of shooting it. We were stuck between a rock and a bit where when this thing's attached to you, either it's going to inherit all of your motion directly, so like as players are running around, it would be whipping around left and right and be kind of hard to shoot. We tried something more like a spring that would like track, but over time, but that just looked even weirder. It was like this weird rubber band thing going on. The way we ended up settling on was closer to the former, inherits your motion, but we built it such that it doesn't look quite as silly as this, like following a player around, while still, trying to sell that this is a dangerous thing, this is something you got to shoot, this is something that is going to kill you if you don't get rid of it. There's definitely a challenge.
So this is an early prototype of the drop pod. Darren Lindsay put this together with some help from Eric Castles. It's really early. obviously, but the experience is still there, and this was really cool to see early on and get the feeling and get people excited when they were looking at it for how the encounter is going to feel. And as you can see, this is with no enemies in the space or anything going on, but yeah, I'm really happy with the work that he put in to make this happen. It's some crazy behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, we built this for I think it was just an internal meeting where people were kind of like, can we show everyone who's not on the team like what how the raid's coming along, what you guys are making, kind of a tone feel for it. There's a lot of stuff that's missing, but it's potentially just a tone piece and also to show the pacing and what we were thinking. You'll see a lot of early stuff and kind of see the bones of where everything came from, which is kind of neat.
That's the old Tannic sarcophagus.
Tannic's old pod.
I always love looking at the prototypes because it shows you can see where different parts come from, and it's always great to look from the before and the after. Do you guys like keep up like drawings of specific prototypes or things around your workspace, I guess, now instead of the office, just to kind of like inspire you guys?
I don't have a lot of old stuff kicking around that's not. Yeah, like it took me a while to find even this video that I'd put together, but I know that like some people who sketch things out more have notebooks and things full of those kind of things.
Yeah,
For
sometimes we
effects
get
stuff,
lucky
we
with.
use-
Go ahead.
I'd say for effects, we use there's another software we use where essentially, as we're working on any item, we're uploading all the versions of it as it goes through its process. So you can see, for the most part now, like an effects asset go from kind of like a blockout, like our version of a blockout of an effects to like a finished one through most items now in Destiny.
I think we have a second
Yeah,
prototype
fun.
to look at. Yep.
Yeah, it's a fun little blooper. This encounter was called Sunder, and Chris Manprim was the designer on this one. And you can see the boss didn't take too kindly to the damage object. That's pretty
Not
great.
even he is safe from the physics.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Can we play that just one more time? It's just so wonderful. Just
Bye.
peace out.